This is WSUR, and you got Crazy G here, and we are doing a special edition of the G Spot today, and we're going to go to the phones right now, and we have Miss Laura Wilde on the phone. You there, Laura?
Hey, how are you?
I am good, and how are you?
I'm fabulous. We just pulled into the House of Blues in Cleveland, Ohio, and this is actually the first show of 6 in a row, so we're very excited.
Glad you said something, because I was going to touch upon that with you. First of all, I want to welcome you to the G Spot, and, other than the tour, how are things going for yourself?
It's been going so well. We've pretty much we did a whole bunch of West Coast dates, like Arizona and California, and then we've just started playing around. We're playing Cleveland tonight. We've been around the Midwest and done some East Coast dates as well, so we've just been having the time of our life. We did Iowa and a whole bunch of dates, and we're very excited.
That's so awesome. For those whom have not heard of Laura Wilde, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a 23-year-old lassie from Melbourne, Australia, so I've been obsessed with guitars for pretty much as long as I can remember. Started playing when I was about 12, and singing kind of came along as well, and I've just been on this crazy rock and roll journey. I moved to the USA when I was 20, and we did our first tour last year with Ted Nugent, and we went out with Fuel for May and June this year, and it's just been such a great experience, and we've had so much fun.
Your debut CD, Sold My Soul, is making waves here in the U.S. How do you feel it's being received?
Well, I think it's been going very well, which I'm very pleased about. I've been getting a lot of positive feedback, which is, it's just like a dream come true to be able to write songs and record them and then be lucky enough to release an album. So I'm feeling very privileged right now with the reception it's been getting.
Speaking of one of them, when I first heard All Alone, I immediately thought of the Ramones, the Sex Pistols, with a touch of the Indigo Girls.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they're definitely some of my punk influences. That one's a very in-your-face, hunky sort of track.
What went into that song and its creation?
That was actually I wrote it when I was about 17, and it was the first song that was recorded on the album. So it was, the first time I went into the studio and actually laid down vocals and guitars. So that was a very exciting track to be able to do. So that was the one that I cut my teeth on, and it was basically about just being spiteful and not really getting revenge on a guy, but just being like, hey, it's not the way you think it is, mister.
That's a cool story. According to your website, you describe the title track of Sold My Soul as a celebration of your coming to America and all of the amazing places you've experienced while out on tour. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I wrote that one, as it says on the site, in the euphoric state I was in about moving to America, and I still pretty much haven't really come down off that wave, and I'm just feel so lucky and privileged to be able to be out on tour and see all these amazing places and meet all these great people and make new friends and play music every night. It's really like a dream come true.
I gotta say, I listened to the whole thing and I enjoyed the whole CD, so, you got my vote on that one. Love Buyer is bluesy. Was that the intention with writing this song?
Well, yeah, it's just, I used a lot of my lead guitar blues-based influences on that one, so it's just, the whole album really is just a melting pot of all of my influences, and the next record that we're going to release after we finish up on this tour, that's, another sort of spin on the whole thing again. It's just, bringing various influences into the light and using them in different ways and things like that. That's
really incredible. And you answered quite a few questions for me with that one.
I was like, what should I be talking about that yet? That's exactly like me, just to go off on some weird tangent. Like, no, don't talk about that.
Yeah, and to touch upon that, are you on tour with Ted now, or you were?
Yes, no, actually we toured for the summer of 2012 with Ted last year, and then we're back out on tour with him again this year. So we've done a handful of dates. We've just in the last week played Iowa, a couple of dates in Colorado, and we just came from Nashville, Tennessee. So we're right in the middle of a tour now.
What has it been like to, perform with him? To work with the Motor City Madman?
Well, he's been such an amazing person to learn from, because if you see his live shows and just, the passion and the professionalism and the musicianship of the whole thing, it's really such an amazing concert experience. And to be able to watch that every night and learn from it, it's really, I'm very lucky, and it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, I seen him back in 1978, I believe, at the Providence Civic Center in Providence, Rhode Island, and he played with a band called Humble Pie. And
very nice.
And I'll tell you, he was definitely a madman. He was swinging across the stage and I don't think he's doing that today, but you know, it was a great show. He's definitely a performer.
He does put on a great show. It's really amazing.
You're coming to the House of Blues here in Boston on August 7th. What can the fans expect to see from you on that night?
Well, I promise to put on a heavy, energetic, high-energy rock and roll show and bring the thunder from down under.
I love
a better word.
I love that. That's perfect. I also seen on your website you'll be working with the infamous Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath. Can you tell us how that came about and what could we expect from this match?
Well, my manager is actually Geezer Butler's wife, so she thought that, you know, as she got to know me and my music and things like that, she thought that we'd be a good match to do some writing. And, I mean, when we both get off our tours for this year, we'll head into the studio and make something happen. But, I mean, I guess we'll just have to see how it turns out. Keep you posted.
I hope you do, because that's going to be something to hear and see. Two incredible artists together, working together, is going to be outstanding as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, well, I'm really, really looking forward to it. We're very excited.
I'm excited for you. Who are some of your musical influences? I know I've seen a few there, some of my longtime favorites. I know Zeppelin was in there, I believe Hendrix. Are there any others from, you know, way back when and today?
Well, I grew up listening to 90s rock bands like Green Day, Foo Fighters, Nirvana, and punky sort of bands like The Hives, The Vines, and things like that. But then as I got older, I started to dig a bit deeper and listen to the bands that influenced them. So, I mean, it dates all the way back from Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue in the 80s to Elvis in the 50s and, you know, even Robert Johnson in the 30s. So it's just everything in between and a whole mix of genres. But basically my main musical genre influences are, it's like a fusion between punk, rock, and glam. It's a bit hard to explain.
No.
You get it when you listen to the record.
No, it's like I said, I listened to the whole thing and I enjoyed it. It gave me, you know, like I said, I mean, I want to even throw some B-52s in there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It kind of gave me that, and, you know, I'm a big fan of the B-52s and the other bands I've mentioned. How do you prepare to write? Are there any special routines you go through when you write or perform?
Well, performing, I mean, I just warm up my fingers on the guitar, play some scales, and warm up my vocals and dance around like an idiot once the stage energy starts to sort of come on about 10 minutes before the show. And, you know, we do the band huddle and the pep talk and all that stuff. But with songwriting, I guess the process really varies from song to song. Sometimes, you know, I can come up with some guitar riffs just messing around at home and doing some practice, or a song can come into my head at 3 in the morning, or if I'm about to fall asleep and I have to record it into my phone before I have to get the idea. Or you can collaborate with someone and come up with a concept in mind beforehand. But yeah, it's really different every time.
So then let me ask you this. Were all the tracks on Sold My Soul basically pre-written, or did you only have a few that were already set in stone, so to speak, and did you have to write more? You know what I mean? Or, like I said, were these all pretty much set and done in your mind and already written?
Well, I demoed most of them out beforehand, and there was just a pool of material, and I sort of picked the ones that suited the record most. But it was done in a 4-year span, so
wow.
All Alone, the first one, was recorded in, I think it was the summer of 2008, and then Sold My Soul, the last one, was done in December 2011. So I mean, there was a bit of a time lag because I had to move from Australia to the USA, so that sort of, didn't bring everything to a halt, but it was like I had to get my stuff physically over to the USA. But it's just, I worked with some collaborators for about half of the tracks that were on there, and, those various writing processes sort of were implemented throughout every track on the record.
Very cool. So tell us, what has it been like working with some of the best in this business? I know you've mentioned quite a few, and you've worked with, the Motor City Madman and a few others. How does it feel, somebody who's just getting into this business, coming out with a, first debut CD not too long ago, to actually, do you have to pinch yourself, thinking to yourself, wow, I'm on the side of this one, or I'm opening for that one? Is it a reality check for you, or is it just another day?
It's definitely, it's very, very exciting and humbling at the same time. And it really just, it makes you, once you sort of pinch yourself and realize that it's real, it's like, okay, well, right now I'm going to have to step up my game and deliver a high standard in order to sort of justify myself being given this opportunity. So that's what I try to do every time.
I know was it the bass and guitar that you played?
Yes, so I play guitar, and I play lead guitar and do lead vocals live with our live show, and then I also like to play bass and drums and dabble around with a bit of piano as well. So
wow,
to sort of practice them all, and that's just my ADD coming through where I can't stand still for 5 minutes. I'm like, I want to play the drums now. I want to play the bass.
Well, I'll tell you, I loved everything off of this CD, and I'm definitely going to do my best to make it out to the show at the House of Blues on August 7th in Boston. And because I was like transformed back into the 80s, early 90s when I heard this CD, and I was like, this is really good. And
well, thank you. Thank you very much. That really means a lot to me.
I'm an older gentleman, and I've been around the block, so to speak, so I've, listened to practically everything, and when I heard it, I was like, wow, this young lady is talented.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Listen, I've taken, both of your time. I don't want to keep you much longer. I know you have a busy schedule. I guess my last question is, what can we expect next from Laura Wilde?
Well, I'm just going to keep making more tunes, keep rocking across the USA, hopefully, tour internationally, but we're really loving this journey we're on so far. So, next record, we'll hopefully get it underway and release it early next year.
Well, that sounds great, and I can't wait, because I'll be looking for it, trust me.
I'll keep you posted.
Keep me posted, definitely. And I love your accent, I gotta say, I absolutely love it.
Oh, well, I love your accent.
Why, thank you. I'm kind of
I love all the different American accents. I'm learning about all the different sort of, like the Worcester, Massachusetts.
Worcester, yeah, exactly. Way to go. Good job.
Worcester. I was like, so you don't get wasted, you get worsted.
I've never heard that before. That's awesome.
Too silly.
Well, listen, I want to thank you for your time, for calling in today. I appreciate
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Anytime, hopefully we can get back in touch with you again, even before you come out with the new material at some point.
Yeah, for sure. You can keep in touch on my website, laurawilde.com, and I'll check in with you, when we get off the tour and let you know how everything's going.
All right, it sounds good. Is there anything you want to say to the people out there in Radio Land?
Oh, I hope to see you all at one of the shows, because we all have a great time every time we play live music. So, we do meet and greet after every time we perform, and after Ted's show as well. So hopefully see you there.
All right. Sounds great. Hey, I wish you the best of luck. I'm looking forward to more from you. I hope you just explode here in America, and I think it's great, and I wish you the best. I wish you the best on the tour. And
well, thank you so much, Greg, and it's been a pleasure.
No problem. Thank you again, Laura.
Bye, you too.
Bye. This is Crazy G, and that was Laura Wilde calling in. We would like to thank NewEnglandConcertReviews.com for setting that up for us, and she's a great artist and very talented, and if you get the chance, check out her CD, Sold My Soul. She will be coming to the House of Blues, as I said, on August 7th, so if you can, make it out to Boston, check her out. Great artist, amazing talent, Laura Wilde.